Was what day?
27th.
27th. All right, it's January 27th. I'm gonna call the Selectmen's Meeting to order. First order of business is to salute the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public input? Hearing none. I guess we'll go to the approval of the minutes, or do you wanna wait? Bob to get your card?
Yeah, let's wait for Bob.
Okay, the next item is the opening of bids. I'll just do these. First bids to be open will be for the police department. First bid I'm opening is from Stockman Builders, McDuffie Road, Center, Tuftonboro. And we'll have Jack review all of these for
Reasonability?
yeah, to make sure that they comply with the
With the
specs.
Yeah.
Stockman's bid is $2,712,808. The next one is from Fulcrum, one word, sorry, from Amherst, New Hampshire. And we have it's for $2,020,000. And the third one is from Triple Construction from Merrimack, New Hampshire. And we got $2,650,839. And the next one is from Benchmark from Westbrook, Maine. $2,297,000 for the benchmark. So we'll have Jack review those all for completeness, and then we'll make some kind of decision, I'm sure. The other bids that we have for today are for the culvert project on Canaan Valley Road. Is that what it is? I think it is.
Sure it is.
The first one is,
Actually, it's engineering qualifications for all the culverts.
oh, cover jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. The first is from CMA Engineers of Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
These should be copies for all of you to review, and then you can interview the firms that you like, because it's only quals, it's not a figure.
Okay. So this is Disaster Recovering Engineering Services Statement of Qualifications from CMA Engineering. Want your copy now, David?
Sure.
And the next company is HED out of North Conway, New Hampshire. again, 4 copies. All in a mess, but I guess we'll get over it. And the third is Headwaters Consulting LLC from Littleton, New Hampshire. We've used both of these companies, HEB and Headwaters, in the past. So we know who they are anyway. There we go. Oh, with a picture of a culvert. So Union Wharf, Sodom, Curtis, and Canaan Roads. So Headwaters actually put a list together. So those will be in, the rest of the copies will be in the office until further notice, or somebody wants to come and look at them. Make a copy.
I'll reach out to FEMA, let them know we received them and
Right.
you're gonna look at them.
And is there a time frame with FEMA that we need to award these?
I'm not sure.
So we should check on that as well. Okay, the first appointment we have is with our transfer station. Excuse me. Chris, you wanna come up?
Sure.
Somewhere in this mess is moving notes from the transfer station. Alright,
Yes, I can get this. So page 1 is the report for this month. Page 2 and 3 are just a copy of the town report that I just gave me that. Oh, I'm sorry about this.
okay,
So page 1 is the copy that's not in the new format yet. And page 2 and 3 are just a copy of the town report, so you have it.
so were you at 117,000?
I was already coming up with 114 and some change, almost 115.
So we need to change that on your town report number.
So I'll go through these
Yeah,
sheets one more time, and then
yeah, just make sure that the numbers correspond to what actually happened.
but I like this. What do guys? Could you email that to me? Yes.
When you email me your report.
Okay. Tomorrow. So, other than the report that you currently have in front of you, we have about 36,000 pounds of cardboard on the ground. We have about a little more than 3,000 pounds of aluminum on the ground. So, my guess is that by the end of February, we'll be shipping out a tractor trailer of cardboard, which will be on the revenue side, and probably not until the snow goes will we ship out the aluminum cans. Yeah. I just got some news from NRA that our vendor that picks up our like dog food cans and regular tin cans, they're not going to be paying anymore. They're just charging. So I'm in the process now of trying to get rid of that vendor, and if Rickers, I couldn't reach them today, but they're our scrap metal vendor right now. If I can put my cans and stuff in the scrap bin, Rickers will take everything. But I don't see why we should be paying somebody to take away our revenue.
So does Rickers pay us money?
Yeah, it's been minimal so far. I was trying to balance it out, but
And where, on this revenue sheet,
I
have you looked at it?
I just got it. I haven't seen it
I
yet.
don't know where cardboard is.
I made a separate sheet. I don't know if I brought it with me, but I made a revenue sheet of all the items, cardboard, tin, everything, and broke that down strictly for revenue. I think Audrey and I will have to get together and put a second page. No, she said revenue here, income, already Berwick metal liquors. So we just will have to add cardboard / whatever to that line.
So it's in that other income line?
Correct.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, you got,
so we'll just have to spell it out a little cleaner for them.
I mean, I would think that you collected $3 in Freon fees last year,
Right.
for the whole year.
Yes.
Can we make that other income and put cardboard over there on that line?
We could, yeah.
You know, just to get some sort of clarity.
Yeah. Freon is kind of volatile for us. We have a agreement with a Freon recycling company.
Right.
They come in, grab Freon from all of our stuff,
Yeah.
and don't charge us. But what they do in trade is they take the core from, if it's an air conditioner, they take the core when they break it down. So that's how they make their money. If we have to pay the Freon recycling company that's in Farmington, it's $6 a unit.
Right.
So that's probably why that Freon is in there, but we could certainly.
Well, this is, I've misread it because it's appliances without Freon.
Okay, yeah,
We collected $3.
yeah.
I don't know what that
And
was.
usually that might have been something that just somehow got in there, because usually anything, any weight products like a washing machine, whatever, that goes under bulky.
Right.
And we've had kind of a wonky year with where we're going to put stuff, but 2025, all the white goods will be under bulky.
Okay.
Hot water heaters, washing machines, dryers, all that.
All right.
So that we'll have a better handle on what that entails as we move forward.
Yeah, because your other income line is $16,000, which is, needs to be broken up a little bit
Yeah,
to sort of what it is.
and I think that, I mean, it's probably pretty close. I mean, that seems correct. We're not making anywhere near what we used to be making from cardboard and aluminum. So 16,000
Yeah.
sounds about right. But this is, I can see that this spreadsheet that Audrey helps with is going to be quite a bit more useful.
Yeah, if we can keep this going
Yeah,
through 25, that would be helpful.
yeah.
Because Chris's spreadsheets are so confusing. So,
But
so we've got a wetlands permit for the transfer station in our signature file.
Okay, about that?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
was that just wetlands like engineering, or was it an actual permit?
I'll read it to you when I get it.
I think it's in here.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
groundwater management permit.
Okay.
So, renewal of the groundwater management permit. Did anything change with your meeting or Zoom with DES?
No, we've put the solar people in touch with Sandtech so that they can cut the middleman out. But as far as our groundwater permit, no,
This is just a renewal.
we've got nothing
Okay,
different up there for that.
all right.
I did just send in, or I dropped off to you, sent in a copy of the new, the updated facility permit, and so that will be here on record, and Concord will have a copy.
Okay,
And that meeting that we discussed with the state when we were on Zoom, they informed us that we don't have to renew our facility permit for the solar array. We just need to know the change in our operation plan that reflects that we have a solar panel, what we'll do to mitigate any emergency, stuff like that.
right,
So we're good in that regard. We don't have to worry about the permit.
good, good,
The
good.
only permit that we need to renew is if we were affecting the landfill. That made it clear that we're not even close to it, you know.
Not close enough to need it.
No, we would have to be physically on it to
Right,
have a change of use.
Yep.
So we're in good shape that way.
That's awesome.
so the last holiday that you took on Sunday is the last of the year? That's my understanding. The rest of them are gonna be Wednesday
Well,
closing.
That was one of the Sundays. We have, I think, we have to look. I believe we have 3 more Sundays over the course of the year. But we have updated the webpage that shows the Memorial Day, Columbus Day, Labor Day, Sunday is now Tuesday, because that's what we
Or
agreed
Wednesday,
to.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter,
So, that first Sunday, I don't know where all the confusion came from. The webpage for that specific day was correct, saying that we were off.
Yeah.
Plus, we had that electronic sign up there for at least 3 weeks with the new, information. Previous information was Christmas, but so we had that for at least 3 weeks, and people just ignored it.
Yeah. Don't lose any sleep over it.
So it's just,
All right,
but that's
Well, it's also a comedy of errors because it snowed and the gates left open when it snows so they can plow.
yeah. We still don't really know the exact cause of that, but the gate was.
I drove in, but I was just looking for you.
Yeah, the gate was open,
Yeah.
and I'm like, how that gate get open is beyond me. My assumption is it was
Speaking of-
plowing.
I don't know if you were there on Sunday,
This Sunday, yeah,
Saturday,
yeah,
I don't know. At any rate, we need to keep an eye on the compactors, cause it was just blowing and it was totally full.
okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what they were doing, they weren't driving the excavator, cause that was parked,
Yeah, I'll have to,
you know,
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, because that's not really something that should happen.
right, right.
We've,
I don't see any, pushback on the roof job or the windows in the compactor buildings. So you should start the process of getting some bids together on those 2 projects,
okay,
so that you're ready to go after town meeting.
okay,
It'd be nice to get at least 3 for each, see what you can do.
Yeah, I'm sure I can get the windows. Are we doing breaking it up? Windows
Yeah, there's,
and heat.
I don't have I do have my copy of the, here we go. So transfer station roof is $42,000. And then transfer station equipment, that's your backhoe, it's 50,000.
Yeah.
So maybe it got combined, it must have gotten combined, the windows and the,
42,000.
that's what I got here.
Yeah, that's everything,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Well, let's figure out what it is we're doing.
Yeah.
And so when we write the warrant article, there's no confusion
Yep.
about it.
I can get all the bids for the windows and the
And if-
mini splits, and then we can figure out what we're doing.
Right, have we gotten any word on our backhoe?
I talked to them on Thursday or Friday. Everything was progressing nicely. They called me to tell me that they had found a couple hydraulic hoses that were cracked. And I said, you need to replace them. We don't want to spend all this money on that machine and then have to come back and blow a hose. Fix it. So, but he's planning to go down there either Tuesday or Wednesday this week and put my eyes on it.
Okay, any idea when it's gonna get back?
They told me this week, 2 weeks ago, it's right around the corner.
Okay.
So I should have an answer tomorrow or Wednesday. I can tell
Yeah,
you.
cause your rental's gonna run out pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to be without a machine.
Yeah, then you be without, cause we haven't got a budget for 25 yet, so I can't really spend it on things that we had planned on doing in 24 and paid for in 24. So,
And I don't have this on the spreadsheet. Do you have any questions on this report?
all the stickers are now obsolete if they're not green?
Correct. Well, I've been looking at people until mid-February to kind of catch up with the curve. But yeah, the guys have been told if somebody comes with a blue sticker, they need to be reminded, go to the town hall, they're free, and then at some point in time, we'll have to put our foot down and say,
Right.
the stickers are free, there's no excuse why you shouldn't have one.
So we got one and then you bring your trash in.
Because people, my position on this is going to alleviate any possibility of people from out of town coming in, unless you give somebody one of your stickers. But my position is that if we have the town giving the stickers out, if somebody got a rogue sticker in Wolfboro or Oxby or whatever, they're not going to get a renewal because they can't get one. So we should be able to weed that out quickly come spring.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, the stickers are,
And you
Here.
gave us this fee schedule. Are we reviewing that at some point?
well, this is just what we put in for this month.
So we're not changing any fees.
That is probably on my next agenda, is just have you guys look at it. I think I'll review the law again,
Mhm.
but I believe that we can set fees to offset costs. And it doesn't have to go to a vote, it doesn't have to be, we can just do it, but obviously I would want you guys to review it. But I think that what I'll do is just sit down, go a certain
Yeah,
thing to go out.
the selectmen can set fees, but you can't. So, but that's not an insurmountable thing. I mean, you bring in a recommendation, justify it, and then we vote on it.
Yeah, so I think next meeting, I'll have that for you guys to review, and yes,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be drastic, but I think we need to adjust for our surroundings.
Well, just, I mean, now that we've got a lot better spreadsheet on the income, we can compare it to the expense and get a whole lot clearer picture. I'm done. Dave, you want anything? We have our chairman's back with us, looking very
Keeping on a low profile.
COVIDian.
Trying to keep my germs to myself.
Keeping them now. I'm not prepared to make any comment yet, but I think we might have a different avenue for the brush coming up in the near future. So we may lose a little bit of revenue by not taking brush, but we may just alleviate the hassle of having to deal with it.
Right,
So hopefully it may be next meeting
okay.
on that topic.
All right.
That's all.
Did I
That's
hear
it.
that right? You're considering not taking brush?
I have a possible different outlet for it,
An alternative?
which won't cost us, and we'll do away with that expenditure. So, I just need a little more information on that before I can
Okay.
pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. Usually when you get something for nothing,
Yeah,
it's not worth anything.
There's always a catch.
yeah, so I'll root that out and have more information for you.
Good. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so far what we've done, Robert, is open the police station bids, the engineering bids for the culverts, and talk to our transfer station director. We didn't review the minutes, so if you wanna take it from there.
Fine with me. She's here, 5 o'clock. Let's take him in and,
Yeah, whatever you want
minutes
to do,
after.
that's fine.
Come on up, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. Alright, so this brings us to our stats for the full year last year when we're looking at December. Christmas Eve, we had a call out for an alarm. All officers were present for our firearms qualifications and also our use of force training that were both mandated by the Police Standards and Training Council. So that's all taken care of. Officer Bodette did some online training, as you noted, protecting first responders from opioids, active shooter phases and preventions. As far as stats go, there's nothing really remarkable to report. So we finished the year with 25 accidents versus 26 in 2023. Felonies are up by 2, so we had 22 for a total in 2024. And in 23 we had 20. And our calls for service are, in 23 we had 51 and change, and in 24 we had 49 and change.
Your community policing is way up, which
Yes.
is nice.
Yes, we've been doing that.
Hopefully the directed patrols will rebound now that you got a full staff.
Yes. With that being said, please understand that if you took 2023's directed patrols and community policing and you divided those by 4 officers or 3 officers, and then you took 24 and you added those 2 numbers together and you divided it by 2 officers, I feel that we've held our own with half staff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, we'll all work on trying to get those numbers up here in this new year. As you know, the background investigation on the 4th officer was complete. We've hired and sworn in Shane Emerson. He, at the time of this writing, was in his FTO. He was released on Friday, and he has done well.
FTO.
Field Training Officer Program, so in other words, field training program. So
Sergeant LaFave went through things like some geographical things he may not have been privy to, how we do certain documentation and things like that, paperwork within the PD that might have been different than what he's used to. We do a little bit more stuff with the computers and the cruisers and that kind of thing as opposed to where he came from. So we were trying to get him fine-tuned on that because he as an individual officer here will need to do a little bit more, and as opposed to where he came from, the dispatchers there did a decent amount for the officers. So the new portable radios have come in. They've been issued to all the new officers, and that was again on last year's budget. And same thing with the new computers. All workstations in my agency are all updated and upgraded. So that's all good to go, and they are up and running. Back in July of 24, we had taken a report of a firearm missing from a home in town, and flashing forward to this December, Sergeant LaFave went to handle another call at that home. He received a possible lead on the fact that the firearm might be located somewhere. He followed that lead and was able to recover the firearm in Laconia, and we have since returned it back to the rightful owner. So I want to commend him on following up with that lead, and it's the fact of getting a firearm back is a big thing in my book. So
Was there an arrest involved?
at this time, there is not. I think that there's an issue of intent, and it was the person that relocated the firearm was known to the owner. So there's some extenuating circumstances in it, but it has been recovered.
That's important. Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah. And that's all I have for you right now, gentlemen.
So all your cruisers are on the road and running and happy?
More or
The
less.
2017, we found out that it needed new batteries after Officer Emerson was driving it around and kind of started to get a sulfur smell in the cab. They checked on some things, and we found that one of the batteries out of the two in the cruiser had ruptured and was kind of bubbling. And so we replaced both batteries. 2 days later, it started to really have a misfiring issue. Took it back to 603 Motorworks. They found that one of the spark plugs had a buildup of carbon on it and was misfiring, so that's been replaced. So I'm crossing fingers that those things are taken care of.
Was the 2017 out of use for some time?
That's the one that was sitting out here for most of the time when Sergeant LaFave and I swapped to the black cruisers. Yeah.
So no surprise.
No surprise. And prior to that, in order for it to pass inspection, I had to put a muffler system in it because that started to kind of rust through sitting and not in use and things like that. So much to my dismay of putting money into it, we need to do it to keep it safe and keep the officer healthy that's in it. And it is back on the road. Officer Emerson is using it, and knock on wood, we've had no other issues since last week. So,
Okay.
All right.
and other than that, nothing else is popping out at me.
I'm good.
As am I.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, thank you very much. You have a good night.
You too.
You too.
A little early for the fire update, so let's get into the minutes. Minutes from Monday, January 13th. I have read them and I don't see anything that needs to be corrected.
I'll make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll second motion.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
How did,
Not good.
okay.
So we have two non-public as well.
Yes. We did.
It's not in that folder. Did you give Bob the non-public?
Yes, he has them with the rest of his agenda and on top.
In here?
Mm-hmm. They're right after your regular minutes.
We have two sets of minutes from January 21st. Make a motion that we accept the minutes as written and then sealed.
Both simultaneously, Bob? Is that what you wanted to do? There are two different issues.
Yes. Yes, yes, all sets.
All right, I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye. And those will remain sealed?
Those remain sealed. Thank you.
Useful.
Evening, Chief.
Good evening.
Let's see, we have nothing in this folder.
I think the way she did it was she attached it to your agenda. You look for the fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till a little closer to 5:15 for the chief, just in
All
case
right.
anybody else is here for his business.
Cool.
So let's, attack the consent calendar, which is pretty light this week. We have a tax map maintenance proposal from CAI Technologies, an application for renewal of a groundwater management permit, and health officer nomination form for Jeff Parsons.
I'll make a motion that we approve all those and sign them.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
So I think the groundwater management is just your signature. I don't think they're not three signature spots on it. There we go. Thanks.
There's two places for signatures on this one. One on the left, one on the right.
Oh, one's print, one's.
I think they're both signatures, two different names. If I read that correctly.
One on the left says print, one on the right says sign.
Oh, well. Then I did not read it correctly.
Yeah, it's whatever.
30 seconds.
Runny nose, no fun, especially with the mask.
Action items. The action items, we've got a letter from the tax collector regarding the snowmobile club in Tufton Borough. A letter from Diane Guerriere, Pine Mill Drive, and the paving projects for 2025. And a copy of the January 14th Parks and Rec minutes regarding the town of Wolfboro assessment.
I'm gonna make a motion that we abate those taxes that the tax collector asked about. It's $12, there's no entity known as the Tufton Borough Snow Machine Club.
Right.
And I think it was an attempt to tax the snack shack, which should be included in the property owner's tax bill and not some organization.
Right, some.
They don't own the property.
Right.
So maybe they should charge them $12 a rent. That's all the taxes are.
Who owns the snack shack? Wolfboro Snowmobile Club anyways, right?
Yeah, they own the snack shop, but they don't own the real estate.
No.
We can only tax real estate.
Motion's been made.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. The other issue that the tax collector brought up with me was concerning the approval that we gave for someone to live in a trailer over the winter,
Yeah.
a camper, I guess it is.
Yeah,
That
remember that?
her recommendation was that we send them a tax bill for that, because it's not registered. If it were registered, then, you know, we can't tax your car, even though it's sitting in your driveway all year. But where it's not registered and it's a camper, we should, her suggestion is we should tax it. It's not a decision I think we need to make this evening, but just to bring that up.
And we don't have any formal recommendations or anything here.
No.
I wouldn't. It was a 6-month extension.
I don't see it as collectible, so I don't
Yeah.
know if it's, goes unpaid, do we wanna own a camper?
No, and if it goes beyond, the 6-month extension that we granted them, then we can have a discussion.
Right,
But for the 6 months, I don't think it's worth doing.
okay, I just,
You?
the only reason I'm bringing it up, cause the tax collector wanted me to bring it up.
Uh-huh. Well, it's a
Yeah,
valid
it's-
question, absolutely.
Yeah,
How much
but
are we
I'm,
talking?
but it's, I just brought it up this evening, I mean, give it some thought, and I'm not in favor of collecting $12 for a tax on a camper either.
No,
So-
me either. I wouldn't.
And we haven't talked to Jack about it either, so we need to talk to him.
And we don't have to, do we have to act on these?
I wrote to, Miss Kier, I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Guerriere.
And I told her that, Pine Mill Drive was slated for next year's neighborhood rate.
This
Road
year's,
pay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm multi-yeared right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was happy with my response.
Yeah, good, she's probably very concerned that we weren't gonna pave it this year and put it off.
Yeah, so I did reply to that email.
Yeah, I've been approached by multiple people on Pine Mill Drive about that, multiple.
Where did they get the idea that it wasn't going to get paid?
She said she read in the article in the Tuftonboro Times, that the final decision on what's getting paved is not fully decided yet.
Well,
So-
and it
so-
won't be until technically the town meeting.
Until
Right.
the town meeting votes to pay for it, exactly,
So,
exactly.
that's,
And Parks and Rec, I know we've had multiple discussions over that in the past. The bill that we get from the town of Wolfboro, Parks and Rec has agreed with our position that we should bring this before the voter. Personally, I think this is a little bit too late in the year to, in the budget process, to get this into the warrant this year. And I know that Audrey's already working on the town of Wolfboro to see if we can come up with some kind of a new agreement. And if that fails, let's say by the end of August, then I think we need to consider putting that into the warrant for next year to see how the residents wanna proceed. My humble opinion is that we keep the status quo for this year, because we're this far into the budget season.
I mean, you know, both the select board and the budget committee have voted on the Parks and Rec budget. I mean,
Right,
we can spend the rest of the year just revisiting budgets, which doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
yeah,
And that money is in the Parks and Rec budget currently.
correct. But we agreed that, we do wanna go in that direction, but start thinking about it in August rather than, January.
I'm not ready to say I wanna go in that direction, but I'm more than willing to say, let's talk about it in August.
Okay.
Cause
Very good.
we don't have all the information with Audrey quite yet either.
That is correct. Alright. And I think that's it. Alright, chief, come on up.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And you have a copy of
Yes.
everything? So we were 133 calls above last year for the end of the year, and 76 inspections above last year for the end of the year in the totals. I'm sure that you saw the incident responses. I'm just going to hit on two that are notable as far as it goes. One was childbirth on 1/17/25 at 10:07 p.m., which the fire department, Stewart's ambulance, were involved in. The
You
childbirth.
delivered a child?
We did not. The child was delivered on arrival, as far as it goes.
I'm just gonna congratulate you.
No. Both patients were transported to Memorial Hospital and are in good health. There is going to be the state set up like a meeting between the parents, the dispatchers, the 911 dispatchers, the fire department. That's gonna take place at our central station on February 4th at 10 a.m. so that everyone can meet everyone for that as far as it goes.
Kind of like a congratulatory.
Yeah, kind
well
along that
done.
lines. The parents wanted to meet, the 911 dispatchers and the dispatch that helped talk them through as far as the delivery and things like that. So, which is a great thing.
Nice. Was it our Carroll County dispatch or was it the state 911?
I believe that it was the state 911 dispatch that talked them through. I know that our dispatch was involved in the whole process also as far as Carroll County.
Would you want any publicity?
As far as
Send Alyssa down and have her do a little article?
we can contact her, and I'll just double check with the state to make sure that that's okay, and go from there.
Excuse me. Cool.
The other was 1/18/25, Welch Island in Guilford. Reported structure fire is seen from Tuftonboro Neck. Tuftonboro, Moultonboro went on an automatic response due to the nature in the wintertime for this item. Guilford Fire responded with their UTV to investigate the report. During their response, the tracked UTV broke through the ice with 2 Guilford Fire personnel, rescue members on board, and all their equipment. The firefighters were able to self-extricate from the water, but all the equipment went through the ice, including obviously the UTV, and
Jesus.
about 40 to 45 feet of water.
You know if they got it all out?
It was all recovered.
Oh,
I know that 2 different recovery agencies, Dive Winnie and another recovery agency, were involved.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I saw some fake Facebook posts of it and pictures as far as it goes. The reported fire turned out to be a good intent call. It was determined to be a solar glare off of glass and the ice. Car 1, Utility 2, and Boat 2 were canceled prior to crews leaving town. Molten Borough Fire Rescue was also called for their hovercraft. But I think this brings a really good justification or why we have an airboat, because we have so many islands and things like that. The crews can safely go out in that. They don't have to worry about it breaking through and causing injury as far as to the members and things like that. When we go out for rescues, as far as whether a snow machine crashes or anything like that, our crews are again in that one boat. They're all together. There's a unit, and obviously if it breaks through, then it's going to float. It doesn't have flotation if something catastrophic went wrong with that. The new boat, the new airboat, if the townspeople decide that they're going to vote for that, will have flotation for the boat. But again, the current one does not have flotation. But yes, anytime you go out on the ice, it's you're taking chances as far as
So,
that goes.
Was the Guilford Fire Department members that were driving, that were on this thing, were they suited up in proper water gear?
I would hope so. I didn't see pictures of that, and we haven't been informed of that. But you know, at least flotation.
Yeah.
When we go out with the airboat, we require that we're in cold water rescue suits. And if you got to fight fires, once you get out there, you've got your gear with you, and you change once you get out there. But anytime our people are near or around a body of water, they're required to wear life jackets, at least life jackets as far as it goes. In the wintertime, it doesn't take any time at all for you to lose feeling in your hands. You can't. It's tough to self-rescue as far as it goes. So.
They were very lucky.
They're very lucky, so. If you have any questions about any of the other calls that was on here, I'll be more than glad to answer any questions.
Any more update on the sprinkler system leak?
The sprinkler system, as far as facilities updates, we still have not found the air leak on that. And they've been fairly slow about getting back to us as far as, of course, this is a busy time of year, but where it's air, I don't think that they're so worried about the whole thing compared to if it was a water leak and you found it. And
right.
No, but it's wear and tear on your jockey
compressor.
bar.
So we're trying to get that situated. We had a furnace issue that took place in the last week or so, and the E&E came out today and found a situation with one of the controls that we must have had at some point in time. We must have had a flash as far as power or whatever that knocked out the box, and it never reset. All the controls were at like 0, and it's something that we don't normally have to deal with or never had an issue with it in the past, so we hadn't found it, but we had noticed that we couldn't get the building up to temperature. So they came out and found that and went through it as far as it goes, but it's on the back side of the system. You gotta climb over it and to get to this control panel. But that was situated and taken care of pretty quickly. I will follow up with the sprinkler company to make sure that we get someone up here as quick as possible and try to figure it out as far as it goes, because it's still running on a regular basis. Mirror Lake Station had an alarm issue. However, that was taken care of on the same day. Ambulance 1 obviously went out for the backup camera replacement on 114. During the installation and the replacement of the equipment, there was a issue where a module was shorted out with the ambulance. They ended up having to keep the ambulance for about a week. It went into McFarland Ford at their cost to have the repair made, which was good, and it's back up at 100%. We ran Rescue 1 in its place on medical calls while it was out of service. But again, where it's our only ambulance, obviously it's tough as far as if you had to transport.
Yeah.
But Stewart's has been very good as far as providing units to transport. We've collaborated with the transfer station supervisor to try to get the emergency management signs out there to notify people of any upcoming holidays. I've noticed, even though that was done, I had noticed some people still didn't look at the signs or things like that.
In a month.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse to water, right?
But overall, I think that they've helped as far as to let people, because there was a lot of comments on Facebook. There's been a large billboard up there for a month, type of thing. So, which is good, and we'll continue with that as long as the signs are available as far as it goes.
Well, for anybody that's watching and listening, the transfer station folks wanted to rearrange their schedule slightly, so they had a couple of Sundays off. And we didn't give them Sundays off during the busy season, but during this time of year, we thought it was perfectly acceptable that they'd have a couple of Sundays off.
I think it was plenty of notification.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's been
No.
posted everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's nobody at fault here.
But you can't make it everyone.
No.
My question is the town's saving a substantial amount of money when paying the bills every 2 weeks?
That is a question that I'm gonna direct to Audrey. Are you seeing negative effects?
Yes. I'm seeing that the bills I had 3 different phone bills that came in with the overdue amount on them. And it's not something new as far as that goes. I don't believe that we had this issue when we were paying them every week as far as it goes. I'm seeing late fees on the different bills and things like that.
We don't get billed weekly.
No, but what I'm saying is we send the bills out every 2 weeks. We pay the bills every 2 weeks.
Right.
When we paid the bills every week, I never saw late fees, very rarely, unless it was like the credit card bill that always was, for some reason they send the bill out and it's due, like within a week of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that could be an issue, but Audrey, I know you're chomping at the bit, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Not. We have had over the last 6 or 8 weeks a terrible time, like Consolidated last week.
Yeah.
Cammie called them, and when I looked at the bill, it was still going to our old post office box. And
And so the delay.
And so we get them sometimes in the mail, like
2 weeks late.
literally just a little bit before they're due. And we put in for, I don't know, I think she still has pink slips that she's putting in with our new address. But, you know, it's hard to catch everything. I must have walked by the Granite News for 6 or 7 weeks before I took the newspaper in my office and called them and said, the address needs to get changed. So I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time with people helping me be proactive and change addresses. So even when Cammie, and I'm not meaning to throw Cammie under the bus, but Consolidated changed like 3 of our accounts, not 6 of them. So it's been an ongoing frustration for all of us.
But I never really saw, before the address change, I saw issues with, you know, the 2-week deal.
Yeah,
With the 1 week, I very rarely saw as far as any issues as far as, you know, late stuff or anything like that.
you all saw the bills this past week because we went through the box and said, okay, what's on the edge of being late? And like that, the consolidated one I mentioned, it's gonna be late again because it just came, so,
There's no way to get these electronically?
a lot of them we do now, so let me,
Like, because like I would imagine Consolidated, Verizon, most of those come electronically. There should be no reason why we're getting paper copies anymore.
that's a good point with those.
I mean, now that's from a perspective of somebody who is a residential customer. What that means on a commercial, I can't speak of.
Yeah, I did do that for Waste Management and White Mountain Oil, because like White Mountain was an issue last year for me because it was the same thing. They mailed the bills on the 10th, they were due, say the 15th.
That's crazy.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
And so now I like log in on the 2nd, the 3rd, see if we can get them. And now we're just paying them right off of the bill when they fill the tank. Like,
Yeah.
why are we even waiting for a statement when we get a thing saying it's
Yeah.
full?
But that's another issue that I have seen as I go along. I turn in receipts as soon as I get them, and then I end up sending in duplicate stuff because I've sent this receipt in already for you to pay, you know, for like the credit card or something like that. And then I received the bill, you know, later on down the line. I never ran into that problem in the past because I technically don't know, you know, I'm turning the stuff into you and trying to save a copy of it or accounting for it,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden the bill shows up and it's like, oh man, did I save a copy of that? And
Yeah, let me look at
did we
the,
pay that already?
let me look at the process, cause it needs fine tuning, cause I'm also frustrated with it.
No, I just, that was a concern that I had as far as it goes, but overall, I think that we're doing fairly well. We're in the, we're going to work on the RFPs for the airboat and the SCBA compressors next week. And we hope to have the complete pricing back before town meeting. Do you want us to give that information to Audrey to be sent out? Or do you want us to take care of sending out the,
No, I think you should funnel it through Audrey.
okay, yep. So we'll hopefully have all that stuff situated so that we can get something final on that. Do you need me to be at anything as far as budget committee or anything like that?
I mean, we pretty much complied with their request for the fire department. We just structured it a little differently, but,
Okay.
you're gonna try to sell 2 generators? Is that-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have 2 generators that are surplus now from the different stations, and we recommended 250 on one and 500 on the other because one's older that. So it's just a matter of,
I would move that we allow the fire chief to sell 2 generators.
and
Do we
Audrey,
do that?
you still have that information as far as, for those, for the
Mhm.
newspaper?
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
So he's gonna advertise them. And then.
It's sealed
yeah,
bid.
Somebody
Yeah.
will come up with a
Yep.
bid.
And they are at the central station, if anyone, you
Wants
know,
to see them.
that'll be in the ad as far as it goes, if anyone wants to see them.
And we did, one of the questions that you had was about the grant money.
Yes, I just
For a
wanted to,
second.
No, I'm waiting for a second.
Do you need us, are you voting on that?
I
You
made a
made a
motion to
motion.
allow the chief to sell the
Oh,
generators.
okay, I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
so it wasn't necessarily a question, we just wanna make sure that, obviously, we receive all the emails, along with
Right.
Audrey as far as the different grants. Grant CFDA, 97.038, referring to a culvert replacement on Union Wharf Road.
Mhm.
$782,365.50, and the local cost was $86,929.50. We know that there's multiple grants that you're dealing with as far as it
Right.
goes, and we just want to make sure that obviously it's outside of the fire department scope. We just wanted to make sure, as far as transparency through the whole process, that you're not expecting us to do anything right now unless something comes up that we need to do.
Right, we've got
with
the
them.
Curtis Road, on our want list for warrant articles. But this,
This came later, right?
yeah, and we've also got the engineering, proposals from 3 different engineering firms to do
Mhm.
all of them, I guess. So we'll have to award that at some point in time.
I didn't even
I
realize
think the answer is the fire department doesn't need
need to do anything. Okay,
No.
yep, that's all I needed to know.
But it isn't that you don't need to do anything ever,
Oh, right, I
okay?
understand that 100%.
Because-
Just
Just
not
not
with this
culverts.
grant. I didn't even realize that this was on the table as far as, I thought we missed the boat with Union Wharf Road.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's listed here on,
Yeah, there's still 4 in the works.
on a couple of these
Nice.
proposals, so. So while we've got you here, we went through the warrant, setting aside monies, you know, capital reserve funds
Mhm.
for different fire pieces. But I'm young enough to remember, and so were you, that at one point in time, we bought a fire engine but and had to have it specially built because our fire station wouldn't hold it. We're gonna run into that problem at Mirror Lake or at Mel-
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah. So we need to, not this year, cause it's been pretty intense, but we need to start looking in that direction as
We
well.
already have.
Okay,
We have estimates from 2 different places that do
Right.
that. We actually have done some inquiries because of this question probably
Right.
coming up at some point in time, of whether the Melvin and the Mirror Lake Station can actually be raised as far as that goes and what it would cost.
right.
We will turn in the information that we received from like Granite Page and Stone and a couple of different people.
Bonnet pages.
Excuse me, Bonnet Page and Stone.
Yeah.
And some people that we reached out to, you know, didn't want to have anything or said, no,
Right.
that's outside of our scope. But it'll give you a general idea of what the cost would be for that. I'm sure by the time that it comes down the road,
Mhm.
that it's going to be a different cost, but
And we should
Ballpark.
probably also get some figure from the people that are collecting all this money building the current fire engine.
Yeah.
what would a custom fire engine cost us?
Well, they're all custom as
Right,
far as that
that's
goes. The current engine, which we expect obviously that we'll have for 20 years, will live in the central station because
Right.
it's not going to fit in the outlying stations as
Right.
far as it goes. We didn't want to put more money into making that custom fit into,
Right, but what
that.
I was getting at is, okay, you've got the figure for what it's gonna cost to make the building more compatible with
correct.
fire engines. What's the cost of making the fire engine more compatible with our buildings?
With the
That's all.
buildings.
So
Well,
we
the-
can compare the.
Standard
You know,
fire engine
the-
versus a non-standard
right.
fire engine.
What we're finding is that they're having problems building them, you know, with anything that we would need to have in them as far as a specialty
Well, I'm
truck.
not saying you have
But
to,
they're having problems making them low enough to actually fit in the buildings.
right, and I'm not asking you to answer the question
Yeah.
tonight, I'm just bringing it up so that
Oh,
sometime in
100%.
summer, we can
Yeah.
hash it around, so we.
No,
all get the
I don't
answers.
have a cost with what it would cost to, or if it could actually even be done to fit in those stations.
Right.
It would be minus a lot of stuff that we normally would need
So
as
it's
far
just-
as on the trucks.
Just a matter of quantifying all of that.
Yeah.
So we can compare.
No, that's,
Apples to apples.
that's something that we've already figured would be coming up for CIP and
Right.
all that different stuff, so
Right.
we're trying to work on that, but there's been a few things that are,
Yeah, and I
more
mean,
pressing, but
I know everybody thinks about rolling stock as being our major assets. We decided paving the roads and making sure you can get to the fire was a
Yeah.
good idea.
that's always a good.
Also, you know, your fire station's gonna be closing in on 20 years at some point here.
Right.
You know, so you're gonna need to jingle it, paint it, you know.
We've tried to keep up with,
Yeah.
you know,
This is
whatever
stuff we're
as far as we go along, and hopefully we don't have huge major issues as far as it goes.
Well,
But
it's a big roof.
yeah, I did notice with that cement siding, it is very brittle as far as it goes. We do have cracks in it, and you can't necessarily just replace one piece that's in the middle of
Right.
everything. That's I probably would opt for something different in the future if I was building a building besides that, but
Yeah, they used to make them out of brick,
right,
you know. Just hose them down.
last longer, right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
otherwise, you have any further questions?
Sounds good.
I'm good.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
And if for some reason there is questions or whatever, reference the warrant articles or anything
Yeah,
to do
we'll
with
let
the,
you know.
have Audrey call my cell phone and
Absolutely.
I'll swing by.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And we have correspondence. Correspondence folder, we have a letter from Robertson Green regarding our audited financial statements and a major impact wetlands permit for, map 26-2-3, which is essentially a permit by notification, if I'm
Yeah.
correct.
I
And,
believe I heard that's gonna be your last hard copy one, I think they're going all electronic now.
yeah. Awful lot of paper in here.
there's a half a ream right there.
Yep. Yep. I have not had a chance personally to review the Robinson Green. So I don't know what's in it.
Yeah, I read it in detail, it wasn't, anything big, or it was their standard, and this is what we looked at, there were no significant findings. There was nothing that jumped out that said significant,
Good.
and no major concerns. The preliminary audit is gonna be February 5th, so,
We encountered no significant difficulties in
Right.
dealing with management.
yeah.
Very good. Okay. Town administrator and selectmen's updates.
Did you do the consent calendar? Did I miss it?
Yeah, you were
Okay,
We did it.
all right,
in there.
I have it.
all right,
Yeah.
great. Revenue, budget, general assistance, warrant articles. Revenue, budget, general assistant, warrant articles. Over and over in my sleep. I did come in yesterday and do the W-2s.
Thank you.
Ashley and I spent time on Thursday. We got trained by Unismart, and we now have the budget, which I believe you all have a copy of, and it's out of Unismart. It allows us to do one of the things that Rob asked for, to include 23, 24, and 25.
We've got some missing items in the revenue.
Well, we chatted about that,
It's too many.
on Friday, was it?
Yeah,
And my thought, given the fact that the spreadsheet that was presented was a little confusing, that what we work on should correspond to the, was it 727?
737.
737. So the lines on this are the same as the 737 lines, so that when we're talking about revenue and the town report comes out about revenue, the budget committee's talking about revenue, we're all talking about the same lines.
Because that's what's reported to the state,
Right,
excuse me,
Right, this is the state level.
DRA.
yeah,
Correct. So I started filling in the 2025, and I need your guidance on some of it,
right,
right? And
okay.
Well, right at the top, land use change taxes, we're going from 6,000 to 3,000. Estimated revenues.
Right, cause we, last year only collected $1,194,
Mm-hmm.
so,
the year before it was $75.
Okay, but the MS 737 says $6,000.
that's what our estimate was. So what the 737 is doing is giving an estimate of revenues. And what we're doing is we're creating a new 737 estimate of revenues.
Yeah, so that's how you could look at the 2025. It's going to be the new 737.
Right. So,
And I just threw in 3,000. You know, you can tell me to make it lower, higher.
Well, last year we only took in $1,100–1,200, and the year before $75. So it would seem like $2,000 might be more of a,
Probably, yeah.
You want to go 2,000?
yeah, 3,000 might be a little ambitious.
Okay.
yield taxes look fine at 20. Payment in lieu of taxes, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere near $10,000. That's camps and churches paying us.
Yeah, we got 6,400 last year,
Right,
but we got 15, almost 16,000 in 23, and 13,000 in 22.
I mean, we could leave it at 10, but we're gonna have to make some phone calls.
But why is there so much of a difference between 23 and 24 actuals? We went from 15,700 to 6,400.
Right. It's because we only, I mean, half of that money was given to us by William Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
which is never the biggest contributor, but they were the biggest contributor this year. So,
So is there, so payment in lieu of taxes, that's a voluntary,
Yeah.
right, you're a tax-free entity and you're sending money to support the town for services rendered by the town, which is why I'm always bringing up Northwoods Road should be class 6, because they never send us any money. And it costs us money to keep roads up. We'll let them spend their own money keeping their road up. That's just one example.
that's a good example.
But, I mean, we can leave it at 10, but I think it, honestly, I don't think we're gonna get there. But if we wanna get to 10, then we gotta make a point of calling them up and saying,
Sending them a nice letter.
yeah, yeah. Well, illicit, I mean, that's why I've always asked the fire department to give me an itemized bill for time for inspections.
Sure.
I mean, they have to inspect all those cabins, the kitchens and all the rest of it, so that they can get their, you know, safety compliance done and probably their
Yeah,
insurance.
they're not getting any,
And they're getting it all for free,
right.
so, I mean, a little help would be nice, that's all.
I'm okay with leaving it at 10 if, our finance department would wanna send out some, nice letters.
Well, we can construct a letter to them all,
Yeah,
and, because it has to come from us, it can't come from Audrey.
right.
All right, so leave it at 10.
Excavation tax, that seems right on line.
Yeah.
The 28,000 of other taxes, is that a total of, no, it's not a total, it's not a subtotal.
No,
What is that?
but I did leave those 2 lines in so you could see the betterment. So I guess the betterment, it's only $250 short this year.
Right, but it still should be 5,500 for 25, because that's what's owed.
Okay,
Just because somebody
and what do
doesn't,
you wanna put in for the boats? You know, I was kind of, cause the 28,000 is combined, that's what I give to DRA.
23,000?
yeah.
23?
Okay, the 28 includes boats,
Mm-hmm,
is that what you're saying?
Yep.
What about cars?
no, that's
That's
down
motor
below,
vehicles.
that's way down.
Got it. So, Bob, are you saying eliminate the 28 and put 23 under
No,
boats?
well, yeah, yes. 23 under boats. Because we collected 24,300 in 2023,
Right,
25,000 in 2022, only 22,500 last year. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect 23,000 this year.
and the other tax goes away?
The betterment,
No, not the
No, no,
other
no.
one. 3189, the other taxes.
What are other taxes?
That's a
that's a combination of those 2
Combination.
lines.
So think of the total as being on top instead of
Yeah.
underneath.
Okay.
Okay,
So the MS-37.
Well, no, it says boat registration and other taxes.
Yeah, so I split those out because I knew Chip would say, where's the betterment tax? Which he did.
right. 'Cause that's not other tax. That's,
But for DRA, it is other tax. It's the 3189 number.
well, they can call whatever they want to. I don't have any control over them. All right,
So do you want me to leave it at 28 or make it 2855? Because the betterment should always be 5,500, right?
right.
Yeah, make it 28,500 or split them up like you did right below it, 23 and 55.
Okay,
Yeah,
Leave
Got
that up
it.
to you.
all right.
and then penalties and interest. You wanna stay at 30?
Yeah,
Okay,
No, that's a wild card.
it
Yeah.
is. But I'd rather be conservative on that one than too generous. Business licenses and permits, that's right in line.
yeah,
And this is the consolidated franchise. I was wondering, I don't know how this algorithm works. Would Fidium have something now, being in town?
who?
Fidium.
The Fidium,
They're the provider for
Well, they're part of Consolidated.
are they?
cable, fiber.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
it probably
that's
won't
the-
change.
They're a sub-entity of Consolidated.
Okay,
So aren't we gonna see another,
Co-op.
yeah, the co-op's going to be, and they're gonna pick up a lot of customers.
Yeah, they
People
will.
are gonna wanna bail from Spectrum.
Yeah, they will. Well, the co-op is owned by the people, where Fidium is a corporate entity.
Well, but they're gonna
I
get,
don't wanna plug one over the other, but I know which one I'm going with.
well, plus you probably, I mean, the speed alone is gonna make a difference.
So what you're saying, David, is that we're gonna lose revenue on that line?
I don't know, how does that change things? Are we going to get?
We don't know how it's gonna change because it isn't installed yet.
Right.
So I
I'd
think
say
we
we
gotta-
It is supposed to come online, but we don't know, that doesn't.
Right, so we need to leave it alone for this year, and we'll change it next year once we really get the numbers.
Yeah,
Sure.
and there's still gonna be taxes involved, they're still gonna charge. There's still gonna be fees for,
Right, and they just pass it on to the consumer.
I say leave it.
Okay, building permits, I think we need to go up a bit,
So you're okay with the 850 for motor vehicles?
yeah.
Well,
Well,
that seems low to me, why?
850 for motor vehicles? No, I think motor
No.
vehicles should go up,
yeah,
You're gonna go up to 900?
at least.
Yeah, at least. I'd split the
I'd say
difference and
that's-
go 9.25.
I'd go as much as say 950. Well,
no,
no, because a lot of new cars that were sold this year are
yeah,
not gonna be new next year.
so,
So-
I'm good with 900.
900. Okay.
You know,
Sure.
it's just an estimate.
I know, but you don't wanna overinflate, so 900?
And then building permits, I think we need to get up close to 80 on those as well.
Our development's not slowing down, is it?
No,
Doesn't
not by
seem
any
to be.
stretch. I'm okay with 8,000.
80?
Huh?
80?
Yeah,
80.
80, sorry.
and other licenses and fees,
Wild card?
yeah, we were 84, we collected 74.
What,
So-
what do those entail? Other licenses, permits,
So like these fishing licenses?
Dog
licenses,
licenses,
hunting
fishing
licenses.
Yeah,
licenses.
those.
I'd say 8,000 is probably a better number,
8,000?
yeah.
Only collected 74 last year.
We collected 89 and 23,
23.
76 and 22. I mean, where you wanna go, Bob?
I don't know.
7,500?
I'm okay with 8,000.
I was gonna say 7,500.
Okay, 7,500 it is.
This is very akin to throwing darts.
Yeah, that's why.
That's
Oh,
not
wow.
bad, it's not quite as bad.
Uh,
Rums and meals is gonna go down,
Depends
but
how good you are at darts.
I have no idea how much.
It's gonna go down, you say?
I think so.
Meals and rooms?
Why?
They didn't collect as much revenue as they thought they would this year, so,
They collected almost 250,000.
no, we
That's
got,
based on last
we
fiscal
got
year.
this is based on 2023 numbers.
Yeah.
Next year's check is based on 24 revenues that the state gets, and we get a piece of that.
And the state didn't collect as much, is what you're saying.
20% less than they estimated.
Wow.
So,
But they still collected $247,000 last year.
But that's
No.
2023,
they collected that in 23 and paid it to us in 24.
2024.
Gotcha.
So so we would have to take 80% of that number which would be about 200 grand.
Yeah, so we're around 200.
Yeah, I'd be happy if we could put it at 200. I mean, if
Okay.
it comes in higher, it comes in higher, but
Right.
if it comes in lower, then we're lying to
How
ourselves.
did you even find that out, Chip?
I listen to the news. It's on-
He knows things.
Yeah, I pay attention when they talk about things that might affect local government.
Okay.
Kinda like when they
Is
say
that
they're gonna,
NPR?
yeah,
Yeah.
eliminate FEMA. All of a
Highway
sudden,
block grant.
gotta figure that out. Should have already been established, the highway block grant amount.
I don't know if it's established for next year yet. Two payments are, cause we'll have two payments that we'll know, and then we'll get the letter saying what,
Right, so what are the two payments that we know? Any idea?
they're like 28 each, is that what we?
So
I-
56,000 so far,
So that's
So-
what, you get Two of
Right.
those matched.
Do we see any reasoning why it would go up or down? Is there any
No,
methodology?
because that's based on Iowa use taxes, so I hadn't heard anything about that.
So
It doesn't,
let's
doesn't
leave-
include any,
Let's leave it flat at 85,000 then.
okay. And revenue from the state of New Hampshire at $11,000, what exactly is that?
That was.
We didn't have
I looked
anything.
up everything that you told me, I just can't remember it all.
Twenty 23, we get 5,200. 2022, we get nothing. And we don't have any amount on the 737.
Right, but we did receive
Is it a new
11,000.
revenue line?
We
Relatively?
That's the 11,317. That's a combination from, personal protection equipment, so some fire things. I'm trying to read writing. Tufton Borough Muni boat, from
Okay.
Gopher.
So part of that money that we're looking at there is gonna be, for instance, the money that the fire department puts into the boat.
Grant money?
Well, it's not grant money that they're putting in donations to their fire department fund.
Well, I don't know. This is from Gopher, so it's paying from the state to us.
Okay,
So it's things that
Yeah, this is state of New Hampshire.
Chris Morgan worked on to get reimbursement for.
okay.
But we have no idea what,
Well, I can pull the check and, talk to him.
well, if we're gonna
But-
put in a number, what do we?
I don't know if I would put in anything.
Yeah, I would put it in
I-
nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I would put in anything there.
It's not a huge
Okay.
number anyway,
So-
and it sounds like it's a wild card.
Yeah.
So the federal disaster relief should be 0 as well,
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
and other government, we estimated $45,000 and got 4,900.
But that's when we might have known that we were looking for some FEMA money.
Okay,
Other.
so what are we doing there?
Well, I don't know what it is, so it's
Yeah,
hard to
it's-
throw a number at it if I don't know what it is. And let's see where we're at. Let's see where we're at.
That was actually, half of it was milfoil and half of it was a tuition payment. So I actually might move that tuition payment. That's what the fire department would coded it as moved, cause it's kinda like a grant to pay for it. But then that expense would also come out of the operating expenses last year. So,
So are we taking anything out of the milfoil fund this year?
no,
Okay. No?
no,
No?
I think that's what we
So I
just.
don't see it as a warrant article, so I guess no is the answer. So we'll leave that line blank?
Or minimal.
Okay,
I mean, we could leave something on one of that one or the revenue from the state on a, small scale and hope that one of them comes in.
Yeah, and I don't know, like for example, there is a grant for the body worn cameras and will the state give us the check? Do we pay for it and then we get a check back from the state, which
Yeah.
might be a couple thousand.
right.
So I wouldn't go more than a couple thousand there.
I mean, I'm okay putting, like a couple thousand on one of them and then
And
leave
revenue
the other
from
ones
state
zero.
of New Hampshire. And we're not gonna get any federal disaster relief, so I'll say 2,000 on the state of New Hampshire line.
And then just leave the revenue from other government zero.
blank.
Blank.
And then income from departments, we've got a number on that, do we not?
Well, the 151, what do you want to make it?
Okay, so that was this year's revenue for, okay,
So a lot of that is the transfer station.
right. I mean, we're at 127, I'd say
So we
something
leave that
between-
blank?
We put
Wait,
2,000 on revenue from state of New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Leave the other
Revenue
one,
from,
leave the last one zero.
right. So, I mean, we're at 127 estimate, last year I made 151, but we've averaged somewhere in the 120 to 140 range. So my suggestion would be 130,000.
now flipping over.
No, the bottom line, income from departments.
Oh, the bottom line from page 1,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got 1450000.
what?
The bottom line on page 1.
Income from all departments.
It's not a total line.
Right.
It's another entry line.
Yeah,
So there's 151,013.
I did the math already. Income from departments subtotal.
so we did 150, we got rid of the revenue for dump stickers, so my suggestion is 130.
130,
Yep,
that's a big jump from 151.
it's not a big jump from 141 and 22, 121 and 23,
Yeah. Kind of splitting the difference, are you?
kinda.
130.
kinda.
Okay. All right.
Right. Till municipal property, are we getting the fire engine this year that they're building?
No, 2026. Correct? I believe
Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah.
We're gonna sell one
You're gonna
police
sell
car.
two-
Or
You're gonna
two-
sell 2 generators.
Yeah, so there's $1,000.
Yeah, 1,000.
I
And
think
then
750.
You get the,
He was talking one for 250 and one for 500. That's
That's
750.
minimums,
Minimums.
Mm.
which will probably be
They're
minimum.
gonna go for that.
but then we got a cruiser we're gonna sell, so let's say that's another 30.
Well, how long is it gonna take to get a new cruiser?
Well,
Should be by the end of the year.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
if you got 3,500 plus the generators,
So it's
4 grand.
4250.
4250.
is that where you wanna go?
Sure.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
interest on investments should pretty much be flatlined, don't you think?
Where are we're putting, well, it's, how much of these CRFs are going into, are being paid by taxes? So we've got 3095. That's established 25, so it's 120.
So the investments, correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna be taking money out to buy equipment and putting money in for the CRFs. So we gotta account for both, right?
Well, we take money out for the CRFs because we give it to the trustees. So
That
any
doesn't change.
any capital reserve,
That doesn't change any of your income, you're just switching categories. The
so.
ones that we're spending money on is the paving.
How did we get almost $80,000 in interest on investments?
Because we changed the structure of the interest and went from 1% to what, 4?
Mm,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I
double,
think we can,
triple, or
I think we can comfortably go $80,000. We're adding $200,000 worth of tax money into the fund balance or the, whatever trustees of the trust funds have.
Yeah.
And we're taking out 100,000. So I'm gonna suggest 80,000 is.
Are you gonna spend down some of the money in the police station?
It doesn't look it by the
Doesn't look like it.
bids. we'll find out.
The
80?
The rents, you're collected $65,000 or $66,000. That rent continues. That's the 2 cell phone towers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if there were no structural changes in the contracts, then they.
Yeah, no, they pay
flatline.
that forever.
Yeah.
But if we budgeted 67,333 last year,
No, that's not what we
That's the
budgeted.
revenue.
Yeah, I budgeted
That's the revenue.
on the
oh, that's
MS,
the actual.
yeah, the MS 737, I had put 25,000 in.
25,000.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Cause,
So we can-
'cause she was
So
brand
just
new,
flatline.
and
Cause I was new, I didn't know.
she didn't know, so 66
67 or 66.
66,000.
Mhm.
Insurance reimbursements, I'm gonna say leave it blank.
Yeah.
Did you hear from,
It's too small of a number to even worry about.
well, we used to get a pretty good kickback from Primex. And miscellaneous revenue. It's showing $3,146.
Now, is that like cemetery posts or something? It wasn't big.
Dead people paying taxes. Okay.
Yeah, they were 1,300, and we had a welfare reimbursement.
There you go.
So.
I'm gonna say $2,000 on that line.
Good a guess as any.
Yep.
I'm sorry?
It's as good a guess as any.
Absolutely.
Alright, so, let's see where our math ended up. Oops. One, I got 158,
$61,000.
$1.732250, so we're down 200,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you're higher than last year's MS 737. Can you repeat the number, please, Bob?
1,732,250. Please check my math.
As soon as we plug it into the spreadsheet, it'll.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's gonna give us a $200,000 kick in the butt.
Are there any changes you want to make on the warrant articles? Chip, you said maybe you wanted to add.
Right, I had sent an email off to Audrey that on the police cruiser,
Yeah.
Mhm.
we should put 3,500 from the unassigned fund balance, which is where the 3,500 trade value ended up landing, to mollify the budget.
And making that 28,500 for that capital reserve fund. So
Where are you?
the taxation will stay the same, and the total will be 28,500.
You're on police vehicle?
That
Yeah.
was not the way I thought it was gonna go.
Okay.
No.
I thought it was gonna go to 22.5.
Okay.
I
That's
thought we were talking about 3,500. That would make it 21,500.
21.5.
21.5.
21.5.
21,500. Yeah.
okay.
So,
Plus 6.
21.5 from taxation,
Right,
3,500 from unassigned fund balance.
right.
Okay.
To accommodate for the trade.
Because the 35 came in from this year's sale?
Mhm.
Okay,
Right,
understood.
right.
Yep.
I'm not,
Nope, that's a good suggestion.
we can't institute tradition, but we can make allowances.
Are there any other changes to the numbers, or can I finalize the wording around them?
I don't think there's gonna be any change to the numbers. I'd like to hear what,
You're an optimist.
I'd like to hear what the budget committee says tomorrow.
Did you read that article?
What article?
Yeah, I did,
Yeah,
I did.
I mean, this is kind of what we,
Their role around warrants, the budget committee can't change these.
right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But with all the work that the CIP did and the budget committee's doing, I think that we should at least hear what they have to say tomorrow night.
And then say no.
Yeah,
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
or yes.
I, well, hopefully you guys have got a feel for doing something together, cause I think we've worked just as hard as they did.
No, absolutely, I'm not discounting
You
us
know,
at
a
all.
lot of, you know, our priorities have to be the whole town,
Yeah,
and getting to the fire is just as important as having the truck to get to the fire.
yeah.
So, I mean, the road needed to do, and those are 10-year capital projects like everything else. So I'm pretty happy about it. I'm a little less happy now that we're at $1.7 million on the revenue, but we just have to make it work.
On the transfer station, you said to,
On the what?
on the transfer station, the, CIP on the last page of their report, because you brought it up to Chris about the, windows,
Right,
and their recommendation, it's page 33, their recommendation was 20 for equipment and 21 for the compactor building, and you're putting 50 there, which I think is gonna be needed. I think he said the windows alone were 42, but
I don't think they could be. The windows in the compactor buildings?
yeah, he said there were a lot of them.
$42,000
I
for
spent
the
40
compactor building?
I spent $42,000 on all
Maybe
the
they're more
windows
than
in-
that, I
windows
don't
in
know.
my
Maybe
house.
4,200.
Yeah, that's way too much money for it.
Tell us how you really feel about it.
So on the, I think on the selectmen, I should send you, and I think you should look at the wording of that warrant article,
Yeah,
because I think if the structure of that warrant article was changed, for example, I'm not sure the building would be in equipment. So they're able to fix the backhoe for equipment, but legal did not think the rental came under there. So I think we should look at the wording in that warrant article and correct it while you have an opportunity.
but we'd only be correcting part of what the warrant, I mean, cause there's already a warrant article sitting out there unspent,
Sorry,
so,
this is,
yeah.
forgive me if I missed something. This is the first I'm hearing about the transfer station windows.
That's what I
It's
thought.
been a discussion before, because they wanna put air conditioning and heat in there.
Okay.
Permanent. Right now, they're just working on a window unit, and a window shaker, and electric heaters. They wanna put mini splits in there eventually, which do heat and cooling.
So should we change it from transfer station roof to transfer station building?
No, it's two separate things we're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up being two separate warrant articles, actually.
Okay.
So that's what I'm wondering, if there should be a third one and reduce the amount that goes into equipment and have one that's facility or,
Where we're talking about the windows and air conditioner or is the compactor building.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the two little
yeah.
huts
Yep,
where they push the button.
but in my callous self, I'm wondering how often they have to sit in those buildings, or they just go in once in a while, or does someone actually have to?
Well, on a busy day, somebody's in there pretty much all day. But if it's a slow day, they'll go and,
so the answer is yes, both, sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah, because I came from a town where they didn't have such a thing, you know. The
Yeah.
guys went outside to do it and
yeah.
observed it from
If
outside.
if it's a slower day and you don't need to have somebody sitting in there all day, they don't.
Yeah.
They'll go up every half an hour.
So,
and-
In,
whatever.
in the town I lived in, of 16,000 people, there wasn't a building specific to the compactors that got a button pusher.
Okay, so what are we saying here? We need a third line for transfer?
I just thought after that came up earlier with the you should think about it and let me know what you really wanna do.
So we need the actual figures for the estimates for the roof and the windows.
Right, you just
And
told him to
then
get the windows today, so I don't think we'll have that.
Can we
in
just say
time.
transfer station buildings?
It's two different buildings.
Yeah, I know, but buildings is plural.
Okay,
Does that,
okay, can you word it? Then DRA will buy it, that we do facility warrant article for windows and
So
roofs.
then
and
do you
things like
wanna
that.
reduce what goes in the equipment line?
I thought the equipment line, we were trying to accumulate enough to replace the backhoe. So we've got
Yeah, so they
103
were recommending putting 20,000 in there. Cause 42 you need just for the roof.
so to start, I'm just backing up, just to make sure that I'm clear
Mhm.
of what you guys said. This is written with the assumption that the compactor building windows are under the equipment line.
Right,
Okay, we wanna take it out and possibly make transfer station buildings
Instead of roof.
instead of roof.
Right,
or you
So-
could leave it like this and I can double check with DRA if
Well, I think,
windows are gonna be equipment.
but it's not clear, I mean, regardless of what they say, it's not clear for us as a presentation point to the public. You know, what are we asking them for? This is a warning, we're gonna ask you for money.
well, at the end of the day, the bottom line isn't gonna change, it's just gonna be,
No, but the,
and the DRA is gonna dictate how we word it essentially, right? We can come up with a draft, but the DRA is really gonna tell us what we need to say.
all I'm saying is that if we're gonna be working on the buildings, let's have the buildings in one article.
Yes.
And if we're
Yeah.
gonna put money aside for equipment, let's put that in a different warrant.
I
Yes,
agree.
we're
So-
all agreeing.
So reduce the 50,000 by the cost of the windows.
Yes.
And put it in the, other one.
So
And
what
so
are,
it's no longer transfer station roof, it's transfer station facility.
Well,
And then we'll in the
Okay.
description, there'll be what we're doing.
so what is the equipment that we're talking about on the equipment line?
The backhoe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a backhoe that is 20-something years old. He needs to replace it.
What's our target for that one? For replacement on that one?
It's gonna go longer because,
Yeah, we
it's
fixed
been
it.
repaired.
Right, that's what
So
I'm trying to
in,
understand.
in their report, they have provided enough for a new backhoe in 25 or 26 and putting 20,000 a year in. So since you spent that down, that might not happen till 29 or 30 now.
Well,
So-
I think,
no, I think it's gonna happen a lot quicker
yeah,
than that.
26 or 27.
Alright, so we need to know how much, so how much then, okay, going to that, how much are we putting in the actual equipment line, taking the windows out?
Yeah, I don't know how much that, it's not $21,000, that's for sure.
CIP recommended 20,000 for equipment and 21 for the windows and heat.
So that's
So
40.
21 for windows and the,
So that's $41,000 in their
Mhm.
number. And we're looking at 50.
50, so we could probably,
They're looking at,
we could probably take out 25, split it,
So here's the thing, the 20
but
for the backhoe replacement is gonna be a drop in the bucket.
it's gonna basically,
It pushes.
That would be for
Replenish
the
what-
tires.
No, it pushes you up to 120,000.
yeah, because you
Oh, I'm sorry, what's
added,
already?
you added to the
Oh, we already
103,
have
188
I'm
that we
sorry.
have.
Adding,
Okay, I'm sorry, we already have
Yeah.
103.
And they're not gonna find a replacement backhoe this year for $123,000.
that's gonna go down because you don't have the bill for the repair yet.
Right,
but some of that repair came from other sources, so we have to figure that out as well. That's why we had them.
Okay, so the 50 is off.
so I say you just take out the 21,000 with the CIP, they've got the numbers for the windows and the air conditioning. They put 21,000 in, take out 21 off the 50,
So then the
Yeah,
transfer
42.
station facility becomes
63.
3.
63,000. And the transfer station equipment becomes
39.
39,000. 39 in taxation. So we haven't really done anything to the
No.
bottom line.
No.
I just wanted to make sure when we wanna spend the money, we're allowed to, based on the description of the,
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And what is a capital project and what is not a capital project?
Yeah, we're not going there yet.
Ashley, I think I'm correct in saying that we only have one more report we need to get out for, budget committee. He wanted 10 years of actuals.
And then the revised minutes that just came in
Yeah, that's
during this
okay.
meeting.
All right.
That's all I have.
Yeah, we need to move the revenue.
No,
No, she needs to put it all together.
I'll put it together and then the, budget committee will have a copy tomorrow
Right.
and then they will, it's their 737.
Right.
You don't actually do revenue till you do the 434 in August.
Okay.
Although I have to sign the 737.
You do,
I do.
yeah, your budget committee.
Okay. All right, selectmen's updates. Long time since we met last.
Yeah, a week. I'm good.
Can't imagine there's much.
No.
No, same here. And I'll be, we've got planning board Thursday. That's it.
I'll move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or other business? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go.